listening to the Creative Native Podcast, and I'm your host, Levi Nimrod. We look into interviewing successful Native American artists and students who show that independence and freelancing as artists is possible. We will look into their background and what they would like to share with an audience over the internet. Now, each interview does go into the background of a lot of these artists and students. Mostly the students themselves will actually cover a lot of their own personal endeavors and their own failures. So, of course, I always ask to keep an open mind when you do listen, but I do appreciate that if you do. And let's go ahead and get into the episode. So yeah, I do appreciate you coming out, and I do appreciate you giving me the time to talk to you. I know we've been pretty much in communications with over text messages, following the projects we've been doing, and I think for me right now, I had a lot of problems like kind of come up for this semester, not just like really including my own projects, but of course personal health, and that was not fun to deal with. So, but yeah, of course, I did look up a lot of your online profiles, and I did do a little bit of background research, and I really like the stuff that you're creating. I really like the tips that you've been giving us, me and my crew. And I remember I told you like in the beginning, we were restarting the Filmmakers Club, and we had almost, I would like to say like 15 people in our club, beginning of the year, but around midterms, we had 6 serious people that really wanted to be a part of the club. They wanted to create movies and films and videos, and even then, like the 6 that were dedicated now, I think I would say 4 are roughly the ones that really want to do films. I think our next project we're doing is actually a music video for a band that reached out to us that wanted to do like a music video.
Wow.
So
that's going to be original.
Yeah. They have a whole storyboard that they already brought up. So that's pretty cool. Like they already thought about things like the things that they want to see on the film. And I told them like, it sounds very ideal. Of course, we're a small filming crew, so I can't promise, the big productions of CGI or anything. So that's just something that we had to talk about with.
Yeah. Well, you can make up for that with close up and low angles, high angles, and, really work the lens, and with beats, of course. What kind of music is it?
I believe it is actually a metal music. So it's not really my style. It's actually more of like my other two. The other two I usually work with, I guess I could call my co-filmmakers. They're the ones that are really into metal music, so they wanted to have like more of like a metal sound. Go for it. I'll edit it. I won't say no. So that's the current talk that we were talking about with them.
Well, with metal, you kind of go. This is just you as a theme and style is find lots of metal to work in. You'll see a whole different style and theme going off with the song.
Yeah.
Junkyard or steel fabrication or rusted steel, get into the theme of what it means for metal. And then you'll get into a really cool landscape or, visual scape and theme for your song.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be the challenging portion of it for me, because it's going to be technically my first music video in general for recording and also for editing. So, and I think the last time you guys saw me, I was working on a lot of films with our engineering fabrication lab over here. And now I actually took some time and I did some training with work to tackle on the After Effects. So more of like effects training and everything. That's something that my job paid for me to take on. And I was like, I told them I wanted to challenge myself just because before I didn't really think much about using After Effects in my videos. And now that I have that training, it kind of opened up a lot for me. And a lot of my videos, I recreated their logos. I went ahead and made new outros and intros for them using the animation style, actually getting myself more involved. At my school, they actually do not offer animation or After Effects training, unfortunately, but I was able to just take the initiative and ask, can I just help me with this? Because I have very little funding. So
yeah, well, Mogerts are the way of the future. Yeah. Mogerts are just like almost all of music videos are used in Mogert style renders. So you get 3D camera moves, you get transitions with psychedelic, infusions. There's so much that Mogerts can do with your music. Music video is a perfect genre for you to play with the Mogerts and get, you can vibrate colors, you can wiggle lines, you can do a lot to emphasize the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mogerts are going to be magic. You'll have a lot. It'll make it so much easier, as well as, really, as I was saying, I've done many music videos, and I always go for the theme first, or the look. And if it is metal, that's automatically, it's like goth kind of black and white stuff,
like a good rustic oversaturation of blacks kind of look.
Mad Max.
Yeah,
with that industrial rusty grind, maybe some sparks, when the snare hits. The grinding of the metal grinding, for the guitar, and then the scoring, the voice. However, I don't even know the song, but I can already, being that it's metal, I can already go into that realm, working the rhythm and the dynamics, the visuals. Once you get that, then it's really easy for you to start getting into it, especially with close-up. That's going to be your magic key. That's going to be your magic lens. You'll start to get a feel for the song once you get into close-ups of metal and just destruction, go from in to outs and stuff, and cityscapes, tirescapes, highway grind, gristle, just get into it. And it throws that theme into it really hard to where you feel the song. You know what I mean?
The storyboard of what they explained to us was it's going to be MMIW, I guess, not really sponsored, but an MMIW theme, because they played their music at an event that was MMIW, and they were doing like I think United by Rock or United by Metal was the concert that they played at. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And they wanted to make a music video for it, and that way they can kind of like show off what they can do on their own. So, and they're the ones that reached out to us because one of their band members is actually a student from here, and he was originally part of the Filmmakers Club, but he actually stepped away because he had other things that kind of came up. But he reached out to us again saying, hey, my band is we played at this show, we're looking for a music video to be done, and we're wondering if you guys can. And I told him, I was like, yeah, we're open, go ahead and see if we can tackle on the project. Do you guys have a storyboard already in mind, or do you want us to generate one? And we just kind of had a couple of talks that way to kind of cover everything. I'm pretty excited for it just because our original MMIW film kind of just literally took off as quickly as it could, but then petered out just as fast as it did. So that's something they do deserve a better film. The film we didn't even get past pre-production just because we had multiple different people put in their own input, and then we had people leave because their input wasn't accepted. People were leaving just because of the time frame of what we had. It was like we had a full ship at them, and then the end of it we only had like 6 to 5 people left. So
that's showbiz. That's definitely how a movie makes. You get 100 to start with, and you end up with 10 that can finish it.
Oh, okay. So it's normal. It's a normal process.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of worried.
I mean, when we did the big blockbusters, we started out with the crew of 450 people, and we end up with the crew of like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the hardcore team one, A-list to sees it all the way through, and everybody else just kind of picks up pieces, and they just get exhausted. Oh,
yeah.
It's really exhausting and very emotional. So there's no way to ground yourself, and you always feel left out because you're not heard. There's a lot of stuff that goes through, especially when you get in some magic shots and stuff. Those early mornings or late or sunsets, the golden hour, and everybody sees it and they feel it and they want it, and they're somehow that's when I guess your emotional maturity comes out. Either you're good with yourself or you're not good with yourself. So when people fall down or get emotional, that just means that they're feeling the epic moment, but they don't feel part of it and they feel left out. So unfortunately, that's showbiz.
Yeah, I kind of realized that. I mean, being the leader for this project initially it tested me emotionally and mentally. I'm not gonna lie, because there was times where I felt like, am I doing something wrong? Am I? Go ahead.
Gotta listen. Yep, you gotta listen.
Yeah, and I had to really step away and just kind of think like, okay, what's going on? And that's where kind of like my health, kind of like a little bit, it deteriorated a little bit. And I kind of, when we finished the film, we actually did a different film that we kind of just thought of like in 2 to 3 days, which was Whistle. And that was just because we wanted to get it done for Halloween. And we ended up just finishing that one within, I think, about a full weekend. weekend. Like we did recording on Friday night when everyone was on campus, and then over the weekend when people left, I had 3 cameras running, so I had all the files on, and I just kind of cut a lot of things in. Certain shots were fuzzy. Certain shots were overly pixelated because the camera is automatic night. I guess the ISO for it was just way too high. So I had a lot to work with. But it was really eye-opening because a lot of like people thought we weren't gonna do a decent film. And it was kind of funny because that was like the first time I ever felt like the underdog. Like people just didn't really believe in our project or even in our technical skills. And we just said we're gonna prove them wrong.
Well, it's really, at the end of the day, it's whatever you get it on there and the storyline's working, timeline is functionable, has the effect you're looking for. Then that last part, and this is where editing comes in and the color correction, you get the color in and you saturate it or you diffuse it to the max or you fog it up and create those effects you're looking, finish it off. Yeah. So that's kind of the part that I think you guys could have really, set the imagination a little more with more saturation, a little bit more flares, and even white it out, ghost it out so that you can barely see it. That creates more of an impact for your story. I mean, you had the timeline and move emotion, you had them, but you can flare it out or you can quick transition or cut to something close up, the eye or the foot, you know what I mean? Or something that really sends the mind somewhere. I think those are the angles that as you saw in my critique. Yeah. Those are some of the things that could really send it off to the next level to give that thrill, seek emotion. Because you had it through the whole thing for sure.
Thank you. I'm probably going to try to do another edit of it just because the edit I did was done because the deadline we gave ourselves was before Halloween. And most of my crew actually just kind of agreed like, okay, this is the best we can do right now. Yeah. So we're like, okay, we're just going to post it, just get it out and then move on to the next project. So hopefully this next one.
That's how production works. So it's, the key to that is letting go. So you guys are doing good already. Yeah. Being able to let it go and let it release it. Yeah. That's how you grow. Because then you see it later and you're like, oh, I could do better now. And then it accumulates the talent. You guys are just fresh crew. You got to build that relation. And so the metal in the MMIW, that's really cool. I would go with find yourself a supermodel type young lady with the red handprint and maybe goth outfit or something, throw her into metal. You know what I mean? So she's empowered, but yet she has to get the metals, all that grinding and all that metal. That way it sends it off to where you're empowering her to where, I don't know the theme of the song or anything like that or the storyline, but I just know that if we empower that athletic Wonder Woman type character, that will send that fear factor they want. You don't fuck with our women, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because they're stronger than you imagine. They're beautiful, but man, they're going to kick your ass. She's got that metal like, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. Don't fuck with me, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. Yeah. And then there's a metal song. She's just like fierce. But anyway, go ahead.
I think that's what they're going to try to go for. I mean, if I would, if I had the budget and everything or if I had unlimited budget, like everyone says in filmmaking, I probably would add like a couple of like,
you don't need it. You need it. You like got the eye and the lens. That is sell more than the expense and time. Just taking that 1 minute, and set up a few things like the list, a grinding wheel, somebody's spinning metal. You put that on the side of her, an old beat up metal gothic car in the back or a hot rod, like Mad Max, a fire, a smudge stick, just get all the magic and set it right there and then just ignite it and shoot around it. And you're like, holy shit. You see what I mean? Yeah. One scene, you move around it. You just like, all of a sudden you get the rhythm going. You're like, okay. And then who knows where it goes from there. But at least you got a content to, to get that energy feel, close up. I can't express that anymore. Angle of the eye where you're on the side of her face and what she's looking at, you can still see the side of her eye looking at it, the grinding of the metal at the same time, flowing right over to her, the reflection in her eye of of the sparks. Things like that are going to magnify that energy that power you're trying to create inside her.
Yeah.
Because that's really what you're doing is that music's inside her and it's coming out. I don't know how, but it just came through that way.
I understand. I had the same thought process before he gave us the storyboard that he drew up. I had where she was dressed up in a rug dress, walking down a dirt road. And then we do a match cut to where she's walking downtown. She's kind of looking around, figuring out and then she kind of ends up at multiple different places. And then shows more of her background, when she's fighting, she's boxing or she's doing something that's more empowering.
Yeah.
And then, it shows up to where she's at a Hogan and she's speaking to a grandmother. They kind of go into the Hogan, but then, then they come out with their red handprint on their faces.
Yes.
And that's something that we were thinking of doing, or I was thinking.
Wonderful.
But he has a different script type, but we're going to probably try to collaborate after finals, because I think next week is our finals week for class, and I have about a few finals to take care of. And I told him that I was like, I want to collaborate with you, but let me go ahead and finish off my finals first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about we'll go ahead and just sit down and grind out the storytelling of it, and then find out who we need as our actress, and just kind of go from there. So
wow, it'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm pretty excited for it. I did camera training with my camera, and basically I just watched about 3 hours worth of videos on how to work with the settings, and I met with the Albuquerque Community College. Their marketing team came out to our location over here, and I was talking to them. Yeah, CMS. And they were the ones that I was asking about camera working tips, because they were running really high tech equipment, red cameras and everything. And it was really cool, because then they kind of showed me oh yeah, so this is what you do with your camera. This is what you do with your camera, because you have this, just so you can turn this off, so that way you have that nice blurry background if you want that. I kind of got more in depth after the Halloween because they came out.
I can send you some actual links. I think I sent them to you at the beginning with the lenses. Yeah. That class and that course is one of the high end ones at the NM Film, or not the NM, LA Film schools. Those are all their teachers, instructors. Yeah. So the LA Film techniques are some of the best, and that you can save yourself a lot of time by just focusing on their lens tricks. And it's really about prime lenses, and how even your iPhone 15s now have the prime lens effect on it. You use the Filmmaker Pro lens adapters. Recording app. Yeah. So it then gives you the full aperture and ISO, and it adapts that depth of field that is really magic. And that's what primes are all about. I don't know if you've studied anything about the primes yet.
I did. The prime lens. That's something that we were working with, and it was pretty cool seeing how they work with their equipment. And they had a big old toolbox to pull about 4 different types of cameras and 4 different types, or many different types of lenses to use which one. But they were telling me they only use this main camera mainly for it, and they have one camera they normally use for off angle shots, and then they have another camera for high speed effects. So it was really interesting to see, and I was really glad I got to help them out, because I started asking can I help you guys run the cameras a bit? Can I help you guys out with lighting? I wanted to learn, and then they were the ones that kind of reached out and said hey, we have a summer program. If your school could help you, go with the funding through your school, you can come out here, and then you do our filmmakers boot camp. Yeah, sure. I'll see if I can ask. I asked around.
I would suggest going to the. There's a course for 600 union film and lens courses. So it's basically 600 union is camera, and they teach you how to operate professional. Big difference than CMS. I agree. I know all the trainers. I know all they used to be filmmaking people. They used to be in the cinematic world before they went to professors and started teaching at CMS. That curriculum and that studio is the best in New Mexico right now, because of all the funding that they received past 10 years. So it is a great school for that. However, technique, boots on the ground, and professionalism is union class.
Gotcha.
So 600 has one in Santa Fe. It's free. They want to teach people. So if you're already a course in film, and especially being indigenous, you'll be up on the top of a list. And they do have the summer courses, spring course. They have any time of year type of courses. They find people to bring you in. And basically what it is, you become an intern on a real movie set. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It's the real McCoy. That's how I was taught.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not schools. Not the schools. Here's why. They're going to teach you how to don't. You got to be a balls to the walls asshole and kick ass and be strong. You can't be a baby, dude.
Kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Oh, yeah, dude. Seriously. Hey, those guys, when they see me walk in, they're like, oh, he's here. What do I do? You know what I mean? Because they got to look professional around, you know? It's like,
actually, it's kind of,
I'm like, oh,
it's
cool,
very
dude.
funny because at my job right now, like, when I don't have a camera, everyone's fine and calm and not stressful around me. But I'm like, I walk up to them, I'll be, okay, we need to do a video because we got to get this grant money. And I do not want to hear you complain. So we're just going to get this video done. And that way I can go ahead and sit down and be quiet at my computer again. And they're like, okay. So, I mean, I understand now that I can't just be like, so can we know, like,
no fluffy stuff.
Like, yeah, I can't, because then at that point I'm wasting time.
We're not buddies. We're passionate artists.
Yeah.
And the passionate artist gets to do the best we can.
Exactly. And with what we have. And what
we have. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because like that's what we did with our Coma film, and even we had a little bit more with Whistle because we had a few different cameras and we had our phones. So
right.
And that's why we had 3 different angles, and that's the reason why we did Whistle the way we did with the multiple cameras is because one of my crew members asked me like, why do we need all these cameras? And I said the reason why we need these cameras is because what if we get offered another job and we have 3 cameras ready to go and we do not know which angles we want, we not know which areas we want to look for. That's why we're running 3 cameras on a film that's not high stakes, and we get to learn how to do that. And that's when they kind of like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, I understand, because if like even the music video, like if we want to get a walking scene where she's in full rug dress and moccasins and it's cold outside, fresh snow, we want to get those 3 different angles of her walking, and we don't want to have
as low as possible. Always remember that. Remember that?
Yeah.
You just put that into your Bible. Low angled, like right underneath her foot.
The power angle.
Yeah, that was a power angle. You get that, and the crunch with that, you know, the sound effect of that sends right away. So yeah, and then also tall ladder. Bring a ladder. Get that angle. You got to get above them. You know, it's for their point of the sky.
Oh, actually, we do have a drone now.
Drones are cool, but I'm saying working an angle, so you're only like 2 or 3 feet above them.
Oh,
you're
okay.
having angles.
I gotcha.
So you're like over the OTS, looking at something in their hands. That type of thing. Because drones are a little bit too wobbly, and you really got to be good at it. Unless you have a big lens or high res lens, so you can shoot from a distance and zoom in, but it's still an optical illusion.
Yeah.
But if you're there with your own camera, handheld, OTS, looking at what they're holding, that kind of angles really just sell it.
Yeah. So we do have a drone. Well, we have access to a drone. Oh yeah, we were planning on doing some stuff with that one, but one guy's going through training for it. I don't know how far he is. So.
Well, it's get some static establishing shots to be fun.
Yeah.
Intros and outros.
So one big question I wanted to ask you is, what was your take when you first started being in the industry? Were you trying to be a filmmaker, or?
I was told, probably like you when you were growing up, that our people are storytellers, and we need more storytellers. So that influenced me as a young man, because my grandpa and my uncle and my great uncles were storytellers for the family, and it was, during the holidays, this time of year, we all gather, but then there's that big fire, and we get stoked fire and have popcorn and listen to grandpa or uncle tell stories about the wolves and the coyotes and the squirrels and laughing and crying and hiding behind grandpa or grandma. There was some real stuff going on as kids. And then so that influenced me to when I first landed, I knew I had to go on a move. I had to get it. Didn't matter. And I was in San Francisco. I was working on another project. I was in between jobs because they said, no work today. And I was like, oh man. So I'm sitting in the hills of Oakland looking around, and I'm like, I see this like work over there across the hillside I could see on the other side. And I was like, whoa, that looks pretty cool. What are they doing? And it looks like they were burning, bushes and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? So I walked over there and I was standing there watching, and they're like, hey, you want to help? And I'm like, yeah, sure. What are you doing? He goes, I just need this right here. Like, just torch it a little bit. Looks like it, make it look like it was burnt, and burn this right here with its torch and just make it look like it was burnt. I'm like, okay. So I did it. Next thing you know, here comes the camera trucks. Next thing you know, here comes the camera crew. Next thing you know, here comes the actors and actresses. And I'm like, what is going on? I ended up middle of a movie set, and it was a reenactment of the Oakland fire. And so I got to work on that. I got on there, and I became a greensman. And all I was doing is charring bushes and trees and spraying them a little black and brown, looked like they're charred with a little bit of red amber, spray painting them. Looks like they were burning hot. So I learned how to do that. And that's how I ended up on a real crew. But before that, I was doing digital. My first experience, lawnmower, and that was digital lighting. Yeah, virtual reality. So it was a passion that I just knew I had to do. And I guess destiny pushed me forward, and I was curious enough that I just started doing it. I worked my ass off to get, because you know how it is. The 14-hour days nonstop. They don't want you to stop.
No.
And you just stand at attention until they need you, and stand at attention to need you and disappear. You do that really well, you get to keep working. And I didn't know it, but I was raised that way. So man, I was a natural. So the way we're raised on the res is the same way it is on movie set. Bust your ass until it's done, and stay quiet and get out of the way.
Exactly.
And make some jokes along the way.
Oh, yeah, you have to. I mean, if you don't, then, everyone's going to be in a foul mood the whole day. But yeah, so that's something I always find very interesting, especially when it comes to handling like talent. And that's when I kind of got my internships to learn. And like you said, boots on the ground, you go for it. If you want it, you want it. And that's the mentality I took, is I wanted to do this. I wanted to learn how to do this. And I took everything in me to go out there and find the people that can teach me this, and that way I can learn to be more creative. And my time is a little bit different. Actually, I started YouTube channels before, and they didn't really go anywhere. I didn't really understand the YouTube algorithm. I think I understand it a little bit better now, but I don't have a channel that's really blowing up or anything like that. But that's just how I started with getting into filmmaking. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a lot more fun. I feel like that's a better way to put it, than sitting on a desk with a suit and tie answering questions. So on that note, what's your take on failure on any projects? And I know we've come across a lot of different failed projects that sound great when they take off, but really peter out in the middle, or something happens.
It's like life, you every day you wake up, the sun rises, but you never know if you woke up on the right side of bed. So, hopefully you wake up on the right side. But if, you woke up on the wrong side, hopefully you remember that, this isn't me. You let go. So it's all about letting go and looking forward to another day where you can do something just like it. And it's just, it could work, in other words, there's nothing stopping us from continuing. It's just a matter of reflecting. That's what, when we make mistakes, we reflect. We go, I don't want to do that again. But you just take it into a category of safety or factor of reality to where it'll function. And then you continue. So the sooner you adapt, the sooner you get more creative, because it will turn into creativity. That mistake turns into more creative. So I always have that in my back pocket. Oh yeah, I remember. Even when, a whole shot or even a music video I just finished, like the last one, I had it all configured on the timeline, had all these mogarts and cool effects and transitions. It was perfect timing. And then all of a sudden the system, the software was corrupted, or it was not functionable. So it couldn't hold the continuity of it, and I lost it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And it was a music video. 3-minute perfect music video. It's a 3-minute song, 2 minutes, 59 seconds. Boom, hits right on the dot. Boom, ending, crash, lights, boom. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, threw everything back in the timeline, started dancing it again, and it came out sweeter, more relaxed.
Maybe the computer was telling you, like, you can try again. It'll probably be better next time.
Yeah, it was. And we had to reshoot a couple more things, and it turned out better for her as far as her storyline. And that was the latest music video I did called Lady. It's about upcoming Native American musician. She's really cool. Starla G.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm producing here in Las Vegas here.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. But it's all about return return to sender. So if you make a mistake, guess what? That's just going to make it better. Return to sender. I can do it again.
I feel like when it comes to failure, I feel like a lot of people see it negatively now, just because
it is hurtful. It does hurt.
And personally now, I've done a lot of failures so far, just with my own projects, and of course with a lot of outside input involved. And now I just take it with a grain of salt. Like I was like, in a sense, like I know what I'm learning, and I know how much I can trust myself, and I can get myself back up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
allowing it to become more of you. That's what I meant by collecting back. Boom. Yeah. You own it. Like, oh, that was me. Yeah. And I laugh. I always laugh. I have to laugh. And thank goodness I'm mostly by myself, because I laugh a lot. I'm always, making hiccup.
I feel like that's something that I had to grow up to learn a little bit, just because
you're still young. You're not growing. Yeah. Come on.
I mean, like it's like something I had to like really understand to kind of get it out of my system, I guess is probably the better way to put it, because like when I failed with my YouTube channel, like I felt like I couldn't really do what I wanted to do creatively, because no one really, I guess in a sense I also kind of went a little bit of a pity party, like no one really agreed with my view. But now that I actually understand like the formulas on how to do filmmaking, like those videos, I deleted them, they're no longer online, but those videos are a lot different compared to what I create now, and following like the structures that have been created for a very long time. So yeah, that's something I like to learn. Yeah,
it does make a difference. You made a difference by making effort. That is the biggest part. That's the hardest part is throwing yourself out. And it felt really weird because nobody responded. I've had a YouTube channel. I think it's still out. Yeah, since YouTube started, and I think some of them only have like 15 views.
Yeah,
still to today, and they're like 20 years old. But my point is, I made them. I influenced all these other people to where I saw my work all over the place. And I was like, all right, I am making a difference. Nice. And then all of a sudden, I continued on. I wrote a script. I shared it with the wrong people. Boom. Next thing you know, 2 TV shows were created. Oh, man, that's great. It works. My formulas are working. I do not take it as, we're at battle and be careful, people will steal your stuff. No, I'm setting the stage for a beautiful place for indigenous people to tell their stories and be blockbuster storytellers for the next generation of films and TV and storybooks and novels and whatever, teen novels, whatever we're going to get.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I've been pioneering that, and that's what makes a difference, is being able to let go and continue.
I understand.
Like the river.
Yeah, I understand. I'm still learning, so I can't really say I've really influenced anyone majorly yet, but I want to. Next question.
Think about it. You have influenced me.
Yeah, I really appreciate seeing you guys, and that was really cool seeing like what you guys were coming around for and everything. I won't say anything else after, but yeah. Next question. What is your biggest challenge being a creative American?
People or industry, the leaders, accepting us as leaders. That is the biggest. For example, that Flower Moon. Is that what was the name of that movie?
Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, I read the book.
Yeah, you read the book. Did you see the movie?
No, I haven't. I know Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, and
very long movie though.
Yeah,
almost 3 hours, I believe.
Oh wow, really? Okay, up that out.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It really, how could you say, baffled and deterred investors for our movie.
Oh wow.
I'm dealing with that now because I'm working.
Yeah.
And so I had leaders of the industry ready to play, and then all of a sudden, unfortunate but fortunate, we're learning a lot here. They put that out there to make everybody bored with Native American content. But then of course we had res dogs on the television level, on that broadcast level.
Yeah.
That still has that audience that proves them wrong, but it's not big enough big blockbusters, see? And then you have the blockbuster scene that is being wrenched and deployed into some other cosmo with their reality. They don't want to be in this reality. They want to be in another reality. So they're projecting all superheroes in another reality, not here in this world, meaning like human beings, human relationships, and, what we have in a primal instinct. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not cosmically bound, tied to a multiverse, universal sexual act. Okay? Yeah. We're just primal down here with our folklore and oral tradition. So what happened was is that cookie jar just got bigger. We had to climb up on top to get our hand in that cookie jar because it just got bigger in a illusionary way. Meaning they're creating this concept that, oh, if you make a native film, yeah, it's going to be epic, but shit, you got to watch 3 hours of it. You see, so mentally we have epic stories. The acting is immaculate, bro. I haven't seen it myself either. I can't take 3 hours of a film right now. You know what I mean? I'm just not ready.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, because I think my girlfriend wants to watch it because
Oppenheimer is almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, I love his movies, but yeah, he's an inspiration for me as a director.
The movie Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
The movie Oppenheimer. That was just like 2.5 hours, dude. Come on.
We watched that one.
You went in the theater for that? Wow.
Yeah, because my during that day, me, my girlfriend, and a couple of friends, we just kind of wanted to get away from the dorms and school, so we just said, hey, we're gonna go to the movie theaters and just watch like a bunch of movies like back to back to back, and we watched like Barbie and Oppenheimer and all these ones. So.
You had a great movie day. Rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
Rock and roll. That is beautiful. But see, that's my point. Look at what Barbie did. She did not defer from. Yeah, she mixed it with everybody in there, but it still was the boy and the girl.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Now, if they kept that with Mermaid and everybody else, just the boy and the girl and has some crazy ending, that's fine. Look, humans love that, but we're not in some cosmic other world that has to deploy us into spectrums. I think our children don't need to be. We need to procreate, not integrate.
Yeah.
See, there's a difference there. And it's this nature, the way the Spider Woman tells a story, it's all about the creation, the boy and the girl, and the stars and how it was related. You see what I mean? And it wasn't two little girls or two little boys. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm, as a oral traditionalist, I'm conflicted a bit. Mm-hmm. However, in motion picture, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
So if we can find that balance in the future of all storytelling, we're going to be happy, and we'll have our own genre of film. That's our goal. Everybody has a genre of film. I think natives need our own genre.
We do.
All the natives, so far, we only have a handful of films that are native, you know what I mean? That are blockbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Thunderheart, we hoped that was native, but it isn't. It's Warner Brothers. But my point is, but they had all the right people on to make it epic. You see what I mean? That's a perfect example. Thunderheart came together. They just pulled the best of the best off of Dances with Wolves and made an epic, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's now matured. We're fourth generation filmmakers now. That's counting that you're fourth, and that are in the industry still. So we're 4 generations strong, not 7 yet. And younger ones are coming up really soon because they're doing the cartoon, the animation. Oh my gosh, dude, 7 and 8 years old. What? So think about that also in your music videos. If you want to add animations, we'll call it. I call it Japanimation.
Like an anime style, like a Japanese anime. Yeah.
Yeah, anime. We'll do native me.
I have a lot of different plans and stories I want to do personally and artistic, but of course right now I'm still learning a lot, so I feel like I don't want to go for my passion project right away and then it flounders or I'm not ready for it or something like that. But at one point I do need to just get over that and just tackle it and just punch my way through it, and hopefully I land a couple good hits.
For which part?
For my passion projects. I think I told you a few or one of them.
Yes.
A few of them. I wanted to do a Reservation Dogs, The Walking Dead, zombie film.
I remember you said that. Yes, I remember.
That's one I want to do.
Yeah. You know what you might want to think about? Here's something that you might want to think about. You don't do any of the subscription of GPT or anything, ChatGPT?
I do have only one subscription with AI, which is for my photography photos, so which is Topaz AI. And that's just because, photography photos, I roughly take per event around 6 to 1,000 photos. And it's a lot of work just to sit down and edit them and go through them and just go through the whole thing. So usually I just put them all on Topaz AI and I just say, fix them up. I teach it. I usually teach it my style, what I want to see on all the photos, just based off the lighting I have normally. And then I'll let it run. This is what I want to see, run it through the whole thing. It runs at 10 minutes and it's usually done. And then I'm okay, that saves me probably 1 to 2 hours worth of work.
Yes, of course. Yeah, there's very nice options, and that's what I was saying about Mogert's and After Effects. It starts to really get creative. I'm in that step right now, understanding the opportunity of changing, sunglasses, putting sunglasses on a character to making them glow or have them be superheroes, change their wardrobes, things like that. They're Mogert style effects from Premiere over to After Effects. It's just like boom. It's really amazing. I'm still learning it, so I don't know much right now.
I understand.
So much to download.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. I'm really focusing on the AI realm, and I've created prompts. That's what I was asking you. Had like Chat GPT, because I created script prompts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's I think it works both desktop but it's a Chat GPT 4 version. Well, what it is, and I even had it focused for MMIW, so it's actually encoded in there with the scripting, background, Wikipedia specs, the numbers, things like that. Its stats are in it already, so it's a built-in GPT for you to then create. Like, you can just click it and it'll give you a theme on a short story, or you give it a concept and it'll help build it and help you write the script, teach you different themes that you may not know about, like how many are in the Southwest, and then it'll tell you the background of that. It'll help you get a story built with that.
Gotcha. Okay, it's really Pony, cool. We're at an hour now. We're at 57 minutes. Yeah, I do appreciate it. My final question I usually like to ask everyone is, what's your biggest tip for new filmmakers or anyone that's trying to get into the creative space?
Don't sleep.
How'd you know I wasn't sleeping last night?
You asked.
Yeah, you're right.
Then you're on the right track.
Yeah. I mean, I literally went to bed around 4 a.m.-ish just because I was working on this. I'm working on my final project, my final audio project, which I recorded about 6 episodes of podcasts over the course of 3 months. And then I also had to work on my animation for it because I wanted to do like a spinning logo for the audio and have my logo ready. So I was doing a lot last night, and then I kind of didn't really keep track of the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, 4 o'clock in the sometimes
the best work done.
Yeah. Well, sometimes your
heart is all that's left in there. Like, go. Your brain's not working. Your body's saying no. Your tummy, everything's saying no.
Yeah. No, actually, what happened to me was I got into like a creative fever.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It just keeps you going.
It just took over. I was like, oh, this will look cool. This will look great. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the frames on this one so that one look that way. It looks better and smoother.
Well, you've done your job when you've done it 72 hours straight, and still keeps you going. If you're in that realm and it happens once or twice, just wow, sometimes magic happens, or it gets you ready for the next thing. It clears all the cobwebs out.
Yeah, but that's going to be our time. We're at an hour. Yep. And Pony, I really do appreciate you coming on to my show. And of course, I apologize for the setup portion. I was just trying to get everything set up in the room so that way I had a better audio experience on my side, and that way, because I'm literally like in a fishbowl, like a little fishbowl of like soundproof pads and everything all over. So, but then I also have all the other equipment that I had to take out of the little fishbowl, and then I had to set everything up in my area, and then I had to eat, and then I was just like trying to grab everything and do it all in one go. So I was like, can you give me like 5 minutes? I'm still kind of like finishing my coffee and getting everything ready. So yeah,
right on.
I really do appreciate you coming in and of course talking to me, and I hope that we can go ahead and work together on some stuff if we could in the future, because I wouldn't mind learning from you and learning from a lot of like the experts in this field, just so that way I can prove myself and work on teaching other people how to do this, because that at the end of the goal, that's pretty much my end goal, is to help people and teach people how to do this and stay creative.
Yeah, well, that's what I was hoping for, is that you'd be ready to become that crew that we need out there in the world.
Yeah. That was a great episode. I'm really glad I was able to get a lot of great people onto my podcast and interview them. Of course, their story is something that no one really hears, and that's why I went ahead and created this platform. So I do appreciate if you were listening all the way through. Besides that, enjoy the rest of your day.